My fiancée swore I must have lost the engagement ring at the gym and begged me to forgive her. I stayed calm and said, "Don't worry about it." Hours later, I posted a reward online. She'll be speechless when she sees who shows up to claim it. I'm 33 and dealing with what my fiancé calls a missing engagement ring. Except the ring isn't missing at all. I've been with Melissa for 3 years, and we've been engaged for 6 months. The engagement ring cost me 8 grand, which was a stretch on my electrician salary. But she'd been hinting about it for months. It was a classic round diamond white gold band, exactly what she said. She wanted. Everything seemed normal until last Tuesday. Melissa came home from the gym looking upset. She said she had something terrible to tell me. "Babe, I'm so sorry. I lost my engagement ring at the gym. I took it off during my workout and forgot put it back on. When I remembered and went back to look, it was gone." She was crying, apologizing repeatedly, saying she felt horrible and knew how much money I'd spent on it. She seemed genuinely devastated. My first reaction was disappointment. $8,000 down the drain, but accidents happen, and I didn't want to make her feel worse than she already did. "Don't worry about it," I told her. "It's just a ring. We'll figure something out." She hugged me tight, said I was the most understanding fiancé in the world, and promised she'd be more careful with the replacement, except something felt off about the whole story. Melissa had been weird about the ring lately. A couple weeks ago, I noticed she wasn't wearing it when she came home from work. When I asked about it, she said she'd started taking it off during the day because her hands were swelling. Then last weekend at her sister's birthday party, 3 different people asked her about wedding planning. Each time, she deflected the conversation or changed the subject. I thought maybe she was just feeling overwhelmed with planning, but the gym story bothered me. Melissa is incredibly careful with her belongings. She's the type of person who counts her change twice and never loses anything. The idea that she'd forget a diamond ring at the gym seemed out of character. Plus, there was the timing. We just had a conversation the previous weekend about setting a wedding date. Melissa had been hesitant, saying she wanted to wait until after her promotion at work came through. She said she was feeling stressed about making big decisions Tuesday night. I couldn't sleep. Something about her story wasn't adding up. So Wednesday morning after Melissa left for work, I decided to investigate. First stop was the gym. It's a small local place where everyone knows everyone. I talked to the manager, a woman named Carol who's worked there for years. "Hey Carol, my fiancée Melissa thinks she lost her engagement ring here yesterday. Any chance someone turned it in?" Carol checked their lost and found box, no ring. But then she said something interesting. "Melissa's been acting different lately. Usually she's chatty and friendly, but the last few weeks she's been keeping to herself. And yesterday, she left in a hurry with that guy, Ryan, who started coming here a couple months ago." Ryan, a name I'd never heard before. What does this Ryan guy look like? Tall, dark hair, maybe late 20. They've been talking a lot during workouts lately. Seemed pretty friendly. My stomach dropped. Melissa had never mentioned meeting anyone new at the gym, let alone becoming friends with someone. I thanked Carol and drove home with my mind racing. Melissa got home that evening. I decided to test her story. I went by the gym today to check their lost and found. No luck with the ring. But Carol mentioned you left with some guy named Ryan yesterday. Who's that? Her face won't wait for just a second before she recovered. "Oh, that's just Ryan. He's fairly new to the gym. He offered to help me look around the parking lot for the ring." Sweet of him to offer. She had an answer ready, which somehow made it more suspicious. That was nice of him. "How well do you know Ryan?" "Not really." "Well, we just started talking because we use some of the same equipment." Thursday, I made a decision. I was going to post a reward notice on social media and see what happened. I put up posts on Facebook, Instagram, and our local community group. The message was simple: lost diamond engagement ring at Fitness First Gym on Tuesday afternoon. Sentimental value beyond the monetary worth, offering $500 reward for its return. No questions asked. Please contact me if you have any information. I included a photo of the ring I'd taken right after I proposed, and my phone number. Melissa saw the post that evening when she was scrolling through Facebook. "Babe, what are you doing? I told you I lost it at the gym." Posting on social media is just going to get your hopes up. Can't hurt to try. Maybe someone found it and doesn't know how to return it. She seemed uncomfortable with the attention the posts were getting. A few friends commented offering sympathy and promising to share the post. Friday afternoon, I got my first real response, a text from an unknown number. "I saw your post about the ring. I think I know what happened to it. Can we meet somewhere to talk?" I arranged to meet the person at a coffee shop near my work. I told Melissa I was meeting a potential lead about the ring. The person who showed up was a middle-aged man named Frank. He seemed hesitant, but determined to tell me something. "I think you deserve to know the truth." My heart started racing. "What do you mean?" My wife works at Premier Pawn on 5th Street Tuesday evening. She came home talking about a young woman who pawned a beautiful diamond ring. The description matches your post. Exactly. Frank pulled out his phone and showed me a photo his wife had taken of the ring in their display case. It was definitely Melissa's ring. My wife felt bad for whoever lost such an expensive ring. When she saw your post, she asked me to reach out. The woman who pawned it said it was her grandmother's ring and she needed money for car repairs. I sat there staring at the photo of my engagement ring in a pawn shop case. Is it still there as of yesterday? Yes, but they're asking $7,500 for it. These places mark things up pretty high. Frank gave me the pawn shop details and left. I sat in that coffee shop for another hour trying to process what I'd learned. Melissa hadn't lost the ring at the gym. She pawned it for cash and made up the entire story about losing it during her workout. But why? We had decent savings and no major financial problems. What did she need money for that? She couldn't tell me about that evening. I didn't mention the pawn shop to Melissa. Instead, I started paying closer attention to her behavior and looking for other signs of deception. Friday night, she got several text messages that made her smile in ways I hadn't seen in months. She always kept her phone face down and would quickly check messages without letting me see the screen. Saturday morning, while Melissa was getting ready, her phone buzzed with a text. I was close enough to see the preview on the lock screen. Thanks for yesterday. Can't wait for our weekend trip. From Ryan. Weekend trip. Melissa had told me she was visiting her sister this weekend, and I should enjoy having the house to myself. Everything clicked into place. The weird behavior about the ring, the hesitation about wedding planning, the guy from the gym pawning the ring for cash. Melissa was having an affair with Ryan and had pawned my engagement ring to fund whatever they were doing together. Update 1. 5 days later, 5 days since I discovered the ring was pawned, and this situation has escalated exactly as I suspected it would. Saturday, I drove to Premier Pawn to confirm what Frank had told me. The ring was there in their jewelry case, priced at $7,500. The manager confirmed someone matching Melissa's description had pawned it Tuesday for $2,800 cash. I didn't buy it back immediately. I had other priorities. First, Saturday afternoon, Melissa left for her supposed sister visit. I waited an hour, then drove by her sister's house. Melissa's car wasn't there. I called her sister directly. Hey, Ginny, is Melissa coming over today? Melissa, no. I haven't heard from her this week. Why? She said she was visiting you this weekend. Must have got my wires crossed. So Melissa was definitely lying about where she was going Sunday. I updated my social media post with new information. Update. Thank you to everyone who shared my post about the lost engagement ring. I've learned the ring was actually pawned at Premier Pawn on 5th Street Tuesday evening. If anyone has information about why my fiancée would pawn her engagement ring for cash, please contact me privately. This update got more attention than the original post. Several friends commented asking what was going on. A couple people shared it with concerned reactions. Monday evening, Melissa came home from her sister visit looking relaxed and happy. How was your weekend with Jenny? Great. We had a good time catching up. That's nice. I called her Saturday looking for you, but she said she hadn't heard from you this week. Melissa's face went through several expressions before settling on panic. I meant to call her, but we ended up just texting. She probably forgot. She seemed pretty clear that you weren't coming over. There must have been some miscommunication. Monday night, I confronted her about the pawn shop. Someone contacted me about my reward posts as you pawned the ring at Premier Pawn Tuesday night. She immediately got defensive. That's ridiculous. Someone's obviously lying to get the reward money. The pawn shop has security footage and paperwork. Want to explain why you pawned your engagement ring? Her denials crumbled pretty quickly when faced with concrete evidence. She admitted to pawning the ring, but claimed it was for emergency car repairs. She was embarrassed to ask me about it. Why didn't you just tell me you needed help with car repairs? Because you've been stressed about money, and I didn't want to add more pressure. What about Ryan? What about him, the guy you're having an affair with, the one you went away with this weekend? She tried to deny it, but I'd seen too much evidence. Eventually, she admitted to the affair, but claimed it had only been going on for a few weeks and didn't mean anything. It's just a physical thing. I love you. Ryan doesn't mean anything to me. You pawned my engagement ring to fund your affair. That's not why I pawned it. Then, why did you need $2,800 in cash? Long pause. Ryan's been having some financial problems. I was helping him out, so she'd pawn my $8,000 engagement ring to give money to her affair partner. Tuesday morning, I posted a final update to my social media. Final update: the mystery has been solved. My fiancée pawned the engagement ring to give money to her affair partner. The engagement is off. Thank you to everyone who helped uncover the truth. That post got shared more widely than the previous ones within the day. It had multiple comments and shares from friends and family. Melissa's sister, her coworkers, even some of her family members had seen it. Melissa's phone started ringing constantly. Her mother called her sister, called her best friend, called everyone, wanted to know if the post was true. Tuesday evening, Melissa packed a bag and left, said she was staying with a friend until things calmed down. You've embarrassed me in front of everyone. We know I've told the truth about what you did. That's not embarrassment. That's accountability. We can work through this. People have affairs and get past them. People don't usually pawn their engagement rings to fund their affairs. Melissa, that's not a relationship problem. That's a character problem. She left that night. Haven't heard from her since. Update to 4 weeks later. 4 weeks since my final social media post. And the consequences continue playing out. Melissa's affair and the ring situation has affected more than just our relationship. The social media posts reached our entire social circle. Over time, friends shared it, family members commented, even people from work saw it. Eventually, not viral in the internet sense, but definitely spread throughout our community. Melissa tried damage control by telling people I was exaggerating the situation and that pawning the ring wasn't related to the affair, but too many people had seen the timeline and her explanations weren't convincing. Her family was particularly upset. Melissa's mother called me to apologize and ask if there was any way to work things out. I explained that pawning engagement rings to fund affairs was a deal breaker for me. Her sister Jenny was angry with Melissa for using her as a cover story. It created awkward situations where Jenny had to explain that Melissa hadn't actually been visiting her. Ryan's situation got complicated when his roommate figured out what was happening. The roommate knew about my social media posts and put two and two together about Ryan's sudden influx of cash and new relationship. The roommate wasn't happy about Ryan bringing affair drama into their living situation and asked him to move out. Ryan had to find new housing while dealing with the social consequences of his role in breaking up an engagement. Melissa's work environment became awkward when colleagues saw the social media posts. While her personal life didn't directly affect her job, the ongoing drama created an uncomfortable atmosphere. 3 weeks ago, I went back to Premier Pawn and bought my ring back. It cost me $7,500 to repurchase my own $8,000 ring, but I wanted it back on principle. I posted a photo of the ring with a simple caption, "Ring recovered, looking for someone who won't pawn it for a fair money." That post got supportive comments from friends, but mostly I was just glad to have closure on that chapter. 2 weeks ago, Melissa tried to contact me through Jenny. She wanted to meet and discuss getting back together. Jenny said Melissa realized she'd made a huge mistake and wanted to make things right. I declined the meeting. I told Jenny that Melissa had shown me exactly who she was when she thought I wouldn't find out. Trusting her again would just be setting myself up for more sophisticated deception. Last week, I heard through mutual friends that Melissa and Ryan's relationship fell apart without the excitement of secrecy and forbidden romance. They discovered they didn't have much in common besides physical attraction. Ryan also couldn't continue providing financial support without income from his old living situation. The relationship ended when the practical reality set in. Melissa moved back in with her parents temporarily. Her social circle was reduced after friends took sides or just avoided the drama entirely. This weekend, I heard Melissa's been telling people she's the victim in this situation, claims I violated her privacy and humiliated her unnecessarily on social media. She's apparently arguing that the affair was a temporary mistake that didn't justify destroying her reputation publicly. The response from mutual friends has been mixed, but mostly unsympathetic. Most people think pawning someone's engagement ring to fund an affair crosses lines that can't be uncrossed. Yesterday, Jenny called me asking if I'd consider meeting with Melissa one final time. She said Melissa was genuinely sorry and had learned from her mistakes. I explained that the issue wasn't whether Melissa would make the same mistakes again. The issue was that she'd shown herself capable of elaborate deception and theft when it served her purposes. I need to be with someone I can trust completely. Melissa proved I can't trust her when she thinks I won't find out the truth. Jenny tried arguing that people change and deserve second chances. I agreed that people deserve second chances, just not necessarily with the same person they betrayed. Melissa can find her second chance with someone who doesn't know what she's capable of when she thinks she won't get caught. Final update 3 months later, 3 months since I posted that reward notice, and everything has settled into new patterns. Time for the final update. because everyone's found their new normal. Melissa's situation stabilized at a lower level than before she found a small apartment and returned to her regular routine, but her social circle remained limited and her dating prospects were complicated by the story that had spread through our community. She never fully recovered her previous social standing. While some friends forgave her, others maintained distance, and new people she met often heard the story. Eventually, her relationship with her family improved somewhat, but remained strained. They provided basic support, but clearly disapproved of the choices that had created the whole situation. Ryan moved to a different part of town and largely disappeared from our mutual social circles. The affair had cost him his living situation and most of his local friendships. 6 weeks ago, Melissa made one final attempt to reconcile. She wrote a long letter apologizing for everything and asking if there was any possibility of getting back together. The letter acknowledged that she made terrible decisions and said she understood why I couldn't trust her. She claimed to have learned from the experience and wanted a chance to prove she changed. My response was brief: I appreciate the apology, but I'm not interested in reconciliation. You showed me who you really are when you thought I wouldn't find out. I believe that version of you, she replied, asking if I'd ever be able to forgive her. I explained that I'd already forgiven her for my own peace of mind, but forgiveness doesn't require me to give her another opportunity to deceive me. You're capable of elaborate lies and theft when it serves your purposes. That's not something that changes with apologies. Last month, I started dating someone new. She's heard the whole story about Melissa and the ring situation. Her response was that anyone who would pawn their engagement ring to fund an affair clearly didn't value the relationship or the commitment it represented. The difference is striking. This new relationship is built on complete honesty. No secret phone calls. No mysterious weekend trips. No wondering if I'm being told the truth about basic facts. I still have the engagement ring, not sure what I'll do with it long term, but for now it serves as a reminder to trust my instincts when something doesn't add up. The social media posts created a record of what happened that people in our community still remember. Melissa will probably always be known as the woman who pawned her engagement ring to fund her affair. Some people might think that's harsh, but I think it's just accurate. Future romantic partners deserve to know what she's capable of when she thinks she won't get caught. Melissa learned that affairs have consequences beyond just the romantic relationship, that deception and financial betrayal create reputations that are hard to escape. Ryan learned that helping someone betray their partner comes with social costs, that excitement-based relationships built on deception rarely survive exposure to reality. I learned to trust my instincts and investigate when things don't make sense. I also learned that some betrayals reveal character flaws too fundamental to overlook. The reward post wasn't really about finding the ring, it was about finding the truth. The post led me to Frank, who led me to the pawn shop, which led me to the real story about what Melissa was doing. If I'd accepted her gym story, I'd have eventually married someone who was capable of stealing from me to fund her affair. The reward post saved me from that future. Melissa wanted to have her affair excitement while keeping her relationship security. She wanted to take my money to fund her betrayal while planning our wedding. She discovered that choices have consequences and deception eventually surfaces. The social media posts weren't revenge, they were just information sharing. People deserve to know what had really happened rather than accepting Melissa's cover stories. Everyone got exactly what their choices earned them. Melissa chose deception and theft to fund an affair. She got social consequences and a damaged reputation. Ryan chose to help destroy my relationship. He got his own social situation destroyed. I chose investigation and truth over comfortable lies. I got clarity about who I was really engaged to and escaped before making a bigger mistake. The ring was just jewelry, but discovering Melissa's true character was valuable information that prevented me from marrying someone who would steal from me when it suited her purposes. Sometimes the most valuable thing you can discover is what someone will do when they think you'll never find out.